All right, here we are. Moving on from the intentions document, right? Which was nothing more than, not to take away from it, but it was a planning document. More for you in the sense of what do I want this course to be about? Who are my learners going to be? What are some objectives I want to make sure I can measure later? And then, of course, you know, submitting to me. Is it a good idea? Is it feasible? Can you complete it in the time allotted? Great. Then we went to the design document, and if you saw my announcement, the design document is, in these larger companies, very valuable. It's when you have a designer who passes off an idea to a developer. You want to have as much information in there as possible. Now, I've also, in the past, I've done some teaching in the kind of digital video, digital media, and I get fixated on planning. And I think we all should. Planning is underrated. It used to be something that we focused on, but we no longer do. Reason being is, I don't know who believes this, but I do articulate kind of ruined planning in the sense that it used to be who's our learner, what's the problem we're trying to solve, etc. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, the tool we should use for this is. But now it's, can you create a training for me in Articulate Storyline or Articulate Rise? Okay. And I get it. That's where we're at. Now add AI to it. It's a little bit different. But what we want to do with the planning phase is just become more efficient, exponentially more efficient. When you can think about all of these stuff and things, right, before you begin to design and develop, it's just going to go quicker. It's going to be much more efficient. You're going to have better ideas. You're going to be able to work through it. Okay. I got a great email this week in the sense that it was, hey, I've got my design documents, which I will admit, 80% of the submissions, fantastic. Exactly what I was looking for. 15% were right off the mark, but close. And then 5% didn't even do it and went right to the project, which negates kind of why we're even doing this, right? So she's absolutely right in the sense of I've created this document, but I opened up Rise and I can't do any of it because she's like, Rise is unbelievably limited. It's great for compliance training, right? Because it's has all the accessibility, connectivity into most LMS is easy. But I mean, if you think about it, for those of you who know the industry, Rise is a digital PDF. Okay, it's not ideal training, right? I think people are using it these days for resumes, right? So that's the extent of what it is. What I want you to think about doing and highly consider. Now, I do know the course has or, right? Rise or Storyline. But I really want you to try to do Storyline. You have 30-day trial to do whatever you want and really push for kind of what that learning can be that you had in your head for that design document. What could that be? What can that look like? Okay, so I'm going to jump into that now. What Storyline is, real brief, kind of easy peasy development, so I can share it with you so you can get started and come back. Storyline. Uh, I'll admit this is not simple. This will be a raw recording. I'm going to go ahead and maybe that expectation failure of seeing me make some mistakes will help you out, but this is it. Okay. It opens up as an extreme blank slate and in this kind of bookmarky sense where it says intro to scene one. Okay. I'm going to go over it. It says new scene up here at the top, insert. You see all of this information that is relatively intuitive. But what I want you to do now is think about that design document that you have. So this intro scene is most likely, more than likely, going to be your title slide, your objective slide, your directions, right? The learner needs to know where to click, what to click, if there's going to be certain items that they must click, etc. So that's going to be your intro scene, which would in fact go to what? Lesson one. So you can, if you want, organize in the beginning right now all your lessons. So we'll say intro, I'll keep that up there, but I'm going to say new scene and see it came up here untitled. I'm just going to say lesson 1. Okay? Not terrible. Okay? We are going to connect these things. I'll show you how to do that. But for now, it is that simple. Okay? Just kind of get your scenes going. And you're good. Okay? So to get going and start these individual, you just have to double click on it. So in double clicking, I now have this space. What I'm hoping that you recognize and see is how much this kind of looks like storyline, not storyline, PowerPoint, right? You have your slides on the left over here, you have your properties and all those things. So this is it. This is what we do. Okay. Now, if you want to insert something, okay, if you want to start with text or images along those lines, go up to the top. What do you see? Insert. There you go. So you can do text, okay? So, oh, I don't want my AI on here. So, intro. Okay, here we go. Introduction to email. I'm going to say introduction emails. And then, it's exactly what you think it is. Go ahead and hover over it, and I can bold it, italicize, all of those things. It's just like you've done before, so don't worry about that. You can also add images, okay? You can see here that there's this whole AI image thing going on. You're more than welcome to use that. You can do audio, AI audio, of course. Photos. I think this is hooked up to the internet now, so I'm going to say illustrations. I'm going to say email. There you go. Bunch of illustrations. And this is what I was talking about before. So photos, see how it actually looks like a photo? If you decide on this style, stick with it. Do it all the way through. If you decide on an illustration, right, where it's kind of like drawn or something like that, stick with it. Go all the way through. So on and so. That's just what you should do. But you should be able to find anything that you need within Storyline right here. Okay? Everything's the same. You got to make sure that keep your aspect ratio and all those. So there's a picture. Now something you can do. So if I click on this text up here, you can see my text panel opens up. Up here at the top says Open Sans. I can do all those things. If I click on my image, double click, you can see all of these properties start changing to that. Okay? Okay, here nor there. Here we go. So back to insert. Other things that you could do. This was made super famous, I think, by Captivate, but Storyline has taken it on. You can add characters. And the cool thing about these characters are you can click whichever one you want, right? For some reason, they're all locked because of the free version, I'm guessing. Oh, I have to download it. I'm just going to pick one here. I will pick Lily. So not only do I get Lily, and I can insert her. There she is. But you can see at the top here, once I have her in here, I'll put her in front. I can change her pose, right? Like there's Lily, all these poses that I can do. Okay. So I'll put her over here holding up our title. Really easy stuff, okay? It is very much like Photoshop in the hierarchy sense, right? I have my title down here, title. I have my email icon. All I'm doing is clicking on these things to make them happen, to make them work. And then I have no problem calling this character. So there we go. I've pretty much just made a slide. I've done stuff and things. I'm good. I've started, okay? Now over here, I want to do a new slide, okay? So all I do is click the word new slide. And this is going to be objective. So again, here's text, POW, text, objectives for the course. Let's see what AI does. About email ethic. Okay, there you go. That was awesome. And then I can obviously do what I want with this, and here we go. Okay? Now, one thing that you'll notice is the moment that I clicked on this and went here. You see that arrow? So all of them have a next and previous button. So they're all there. So if I go by the story view, you can see that it's just going to go. If I'm on this slide and I click next, it goes here. If I hit previous, it goes back here. So say I'm done though. So I'm going to come back to this and I want to not go to the next slide, but I want to start going to lesson 1. This is where the triggers come in. Okay. So next button says jump to slide, next slide. Well, I don't want to do that, right? I want to come down here and it says lesson 1. That's that scene that I made, and do that. Okay. And now when we go to story view, you can see that it's all connected. Yours would have this, right? Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and all that. So that's the gist of it. I mean, it's all right here. Okay. Putting in images, you all have that. You have your content, the interactivity and stuff like that. Use your AI assistant, or do what everybody loves to do and check out, YouTube University if you need. But again, so look at generate quiz, generate question, generate summary. Everything will be here in this AI assistant if you need it. But regardless, it's here. Okay? I know that's not everything, but I just wanted to show you like a quick, this is how it's done, this is how you can do it, just to get started and use that design document to create your magic. Okay? So that was Storyline. There is a learning curve, but it's quick, it's easy. Once you get into a rhythm, you're good to go. I'd love to see y'all, most of you, some of you are already thinking it, use Storyline. Okay? It's powerful, it's adaptive, it's customizable. I mean, it literally gives you a blank slate to start with, which is unbelievable. So do your best with that. I'm going to come up with a schedule. Let's not meet. I'll do this announcement. We will not meet this Thursday because I want you to take this all in. I want you to think about the Storyline project. But I'm going to give you all next week. I know it's supposed to be due, I think it says on the 21st, but let's go all the way to the 24th. So I'll give you all next week to do this. I'm going to give out times when I'm available if you want to hop on and do a Zoom with me. I'm going to make my next week devoted to helping you with this Storyline. So look for those emails, those announcements, etc. And let's have fun with this. Let's actually try to do a super cool Storyline project. Okay? All right.